Welcome to another 15 minutes in search of sanity. Just two guys trying to make sense of a world that stopped making sense a long freaking time ago. And we do it all in just 15 minutes. As always, I'm Mark Wilson, and please say hello to columnist, world traveler, and my good friend, Clive Pinder, everybody.
Mr. Wilson.
How are you today, Clive?
Well, I was going to say bon après-midi because I'll admit, I'm sorry I'm late. I was drinking skinny margaritas in the pig iron, watching France get beaten by Spain. So I'm a little tipsy, and I was rather hoping that France would beat Spain because then England could beat Argentina, and then England could beat France, win the World Cup final with a German manager. And that sounds, for anybody who's got any historical knowledge of football, kind of interesting. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No. And isn't England still in it? Aren't the Brits?
Yeah, we are. We're playing Argentina tomorrow.
Of course, by the time people get this podcast, it'll be all over with.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we're on radio right now. But anyway, so you're drunk. Good. Fantastic. We'll look forward to some fine entertainment then.
Drinking lemon water.
Oh, great. And tonight, since we're talking about you personally and what you do beyond the podcast, aren't you going to see Chris Stapleton tonight?
Chris Stapleton, yes.
He's so good. If he doesn't come out on stage, though, it's like 115 degrees where we are.
Yeah, it is. But he's a boy from the South. But hey, Mark, apparently tickets are going for 4 to 5 times face value. So
of course, Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I became a country fan when I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Chris Stapleton is the perfect crossover between kind of rhythm and blues and country. Anyway, we're already 3 minutes into our 15. Yes. Make me mad.
Do you want me to introduce, or do you want?
Yeah, no, I want you. I have no idea what we're talking about, mate.
Well, yes, you do. Don't lie. You don't lie. You are more prepper than I'm a prepper. I don't like that. I don't even want to tell you what the subject is when I come up with it. And you have to know, ladies and gentlemen. He has to know. And it's anger. It's really simple. It's a simple topic, and the reason I chose it is because, well, haven't you noticed that over the last, I don't know really when it started. People have always been angry. It's not like it just started a while back. But aren't people getting angrier and angrier? I've just lately become so acutely aware that people are just angry about everything, and you can't get away from it. It's on television. It's in the newspaper. People online are just angry. And I decided to do a little bit of research about it. Just to see if there was.
Can I just say something?
No, you're drunk. Why would I allow you to say anything? You're inebriated.
I put my hand up like a good boy in a class.
You are inebriated, and you are not qualified to be on the podcast right now. Of course you can say something.
No, I'm just wondering if, because you and I spend so much time in the world of media.
Yeah.
That's where the anger is. I just got back I noticed that when you just go out socially,
You're angry there too, though.
Well, less so. I think a lot of people have literally, sadly, checked out because they just know whenever they go online. How many people do you know? My wife, for example, she has cut herself off through pretty much all of social media except for Instagram.
I actually do know people like that. I'll mention something that's in the news, and they'll say, well, I haven't heard that because I don't pay attention. Yeah, well, they've checked out, or they're day drinking like you do. But no, I did. I decided just for our podcast as something to talk about. And I don't know if it's interesting or not, but there is some science to it. I found a Yale study that analyzed about 12.5 million tweets. Or do we still call them tweets, or are they X's?
I'd call them tweets. Elon owns enough as it is already. I don't think we should give him X either.
X. All right. So anyway, they analyzed 12.5 million tweets from more than 7,000 users. And the researchers found that when people receive positive social feedback, so we're talking again about, yeah, digital, we're talking about online. When they receive positive social feedback, likes and retweets for expressing moral outrage, they're more likely to express outrage again in the future. So it's sort of a reward, I think, perhaps. And again, if you're not on social media, if you're not online, if you're not part of the digital world, um, you're not aware of it, but you are rewarded for anger and outrage. And I think you and I have talked about that for a long time. That television, news media rewards us. It's enraged to engage, which is, I think I coined that phrase a long, long time ago. So um, apparently, there's some truth to it.
There is. And just to show I did do a little bit of homework, of course, the researchers you're talking about are Molly Crocker and Williams Brady. See, I don't want you to think I came here totally unprepared.
It is. It's Molly
But
Crocker.
hey, listen, this thought just popped into my head. And this show is all about being authentic.
Sure.
And those who know me will know that I am quick, especially with a couple of gin and tonics, to get irritated. And I went to a school where if you were a naughty boy, you got beaten. And my father had a short temper. And if the only thing that would keep me on the right side of being reasonable was the threat of my father. I mean, he never broke skin or, I was never bruised. But I think anger breeds anger to a certain extent. There you go. I'm just throwing that out there. I've 4 therapists and
I don't think
3
that-
great wives later, I finally figured out how to be a better man.
Listen. I don't want to get into your personal life, but I've seen you get angry, and when you get angry, you get angry. You're one of those guys that'll hold it in, and so am I. And then when you bust open, and it all comes out. But anyway, I don't know. Anger breeds anger. Are you saying that because your father was angry with you? That
No, what I'm trying to say is I'm wondering if social media is just our new social circle. I mean, in the old days, your social circle was your local community, your local villages. That's where you got your learned behavior from.
Well, I think there's another part of this that nobody really talks about, and I had to put myself on purpose here, as I often do, because I like to self critique.
Actualize? No,
Yeah. I mean,
self-critique.
so I thought, well, what about us? And I started to realize that, and I am as guilty of this as anybody else. I will look at angry people online. I'll look at the road rage stuff because some of it's pretty funny. But at the same time, it's like, why am I watching this? Why are we drawn to things? Why are we drawn to videos online of people who freak out on on the airline? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we share it, and so I think part of it is us. And when media sees that we respond to that positively, share it, talk about it, come back to it continually again and again and again, what does that do, Mr. Science, Mr. Drunken Science? He wasn't
It
listening.
en
He wasn't
it en
listening.
it enrages to engage. I don't know. It's a reinforcement loop.
Well, but for the people that are giving it to us, they give us more of it because they see that we like it. We are rewarded, in a sense, for partaking in, whether we're angry or not, we are watching anger, and we are coming back to it again and again and again and again and again. And that just feeds the beast that feeds us back.
Yeah. But and they're making, it is, I mean, it is a drug. There's no doubt about it. What do they call it? Doom looping?
Scrolling.
Doom
Yes,
scrolling.
scroll. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's absolutely true. So I started to think, am I getting angrier because like you said, anger begets anger?
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that anger, in a sense, shuts down curiosity? And here's what I mean by that. If you see something, and we maybe have had a similar conversation to this, so I apologize to the audience, but when you see something that's angry online, do you just accept it for what it is, or do you go, wait a minute, I gotta do some research?
No, I mean, I talk about this a lot. If I understand what you're saying, I mean, it's cognitive dissonance, right? So the minute anybody tells you something that you don't agree with, you double down on your cognitive dissonance. So you shut your curiosity down.
I mean, I think politicians do this to us all the time, and I think it's become a political norm. And I hadn't thought about it again until I thought about the whole idea of anger. Politicians, what do? They know that the angry voter votes. They know that the angry voters share videos. They say things like, "You're destroying America. You're destroying democracy." They're all things that get people angry. I don't hear a lot of solutions. I just hear a lot of people who are pointing at somebody else and going, "Look what they're doing. They're trying to kill you, trying to take away your rights."
Right. I think you're right. Actually, Jordan Cunningham, who was our last guest, who was the what I would call moderate GOP state assemblyman, he kind of laid it all out that the two parties are fighting over the 50-yard line. So, I mean, I don't know a lot about American football, but that's a scrum, man. I mean, that's the rugby equivalent of scrum. That's where you fight over the inches. You're not playing the good positive game. So I think no, we are a tribal society. We have to get out of it. I'd like to spend the last few minutes talking about to our listeners things that literally, I mean, I have been thinking about this, things that I'm trying to do to stop being sucked in.
Me too. And I want to. I'm going to freak you out at the end because I wrote something that is particularly good for the title of this show. But go ahead. What can we do to not be angry?
Um, okay, well, I'm just going to here's some practical tips that I picked up about 2 weeks ago, and I wrote them down, and I'm kind of failing miserably at some of them. But so the first thing is when you read a post that's making you angry or making you feel unhappy, hit not interested or see less of this. So in other words, you've got to train. The algorithm is going to suck you into a void of being pissed off. So you've got to, the sad thing about this, Mark, is, and this is a whole nother show, because I am not one for banning social media or anything. I think the
I
minute
agree.
we have to understand there is an enemy out there, and that enemy is X, Facebook, all of these people that they want you doom scrolling.
Well, we've talked about media literacy before,
Yeah.
which we're going to get into a lot more as we move forward here in the next few months. What if we were to talk about emotional literacy? Same thing. Well, not same thing, but you're talking about emotional.
You want our audience to listen to Mark and Clive talking about emotional literacy? Geez, that's like
I didn't say that. I'm
I
just
would.
saying if we were all to be less angry, we should
Yeah,
talk about
you're right.
emotional literacy.
I want to give you a hug right now, Mark, but I can't reach through the screen. That's a good place to start. Hug it out, brother. Anyway, number 2, never comment on, argue on rage bait, even to disagree. I had never thought about this because I'm often disagreeing because I'm a disagreeable chap. But apparently that is a big ramp up on the algorithms. When they know they've got you hooked in a fight, they're sucking you back in. So don't even
Wait
bother
a minute.
because let's be honest, nobody really gives a
Wait,
shit because 9 times out of 10, you don't know them. So you're just basically talking to the wall.
but you are, if you don't mind me saying, and I know you're gonna be, you're gonna agree to it. You're gonna admit to it. You have more fights with people online than anybody else that I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I this is slightly
And
obnoxious.
it's
I
because
think one of my
yeah,
superpowers is I don't have cognitive dissonance. And so when I feel people that have it, I just have to point it out. But the other thing is, I think we talked about this in a previous episode. Our education was the Socratic system where you argue. That's how you learn, right?
sure.
And you have debates and you agree to disagree. And
You're
that's
not
the way I
angry,
was raised.
but you're not necessarily angry, you're just disagreeing.
Yeah, but if you hear a good debate, a good debate is really about slapping the other person in the face with a good torrent of lexicon, and proving that your dictionary is better than them and they're basically an ignorant, uneducated, poorly read. There you go. Not that I'm suggesting you are, Mark, but
Can I use my line now?
yes,
Can I
please.
all right.
14 minutes and 52 seconds.
Let me sum this up for you.
Okay.
Otis Campbell. And I know you don't know who that is, but the audience.
Didn't he make soup?
I'm going to sum it up for you. Outrage demands immediacy. Sanity requires time. To investigate.
So what are you suggesting? We should not have... I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it is brilliant. But now I'm wondering why we stuck ourselves. We're already at 15 minutes and 36 seconds.
We'll do a part 2. Maybe we can pick it up next time. But I'm just saying, think about that for a minute. Outrage demands immediacy. It's what social media is. It's boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
Sanity requires time and effort. The ability to stop for a moment and say, wait a minute.
Outrage demands immediacy.
There you go.
Sanity demands time.
Requires time. Yes.
Requires time. I like that because that's very clever literally, because
what I'd like you to
you've got the word demand and require, which one is, of course, oppressive. And yeah, I like that a lot.
So what I'd like you to do is to write that down 1,000 times, mail it to me.
Now you've made me mad, because at my boarding school, when I did anything wrong, I had to go away and write 1,000 times. Or sit on the mat and learn a poem.
I can smell your alcohol breath through the microphone. I don't know.
No, you can't. That's lemon water.
You were the one that admitted to day drinking. You're drinking before you go to the Chris Stapleton show, which is fine. Who cares? But I'm messing with you to see if I can make you angry.
No, it's not going to happen today because I'm.
All right. Well, listen, have fun at the Chris Stapleton show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you wish you could be there too. So you could be angry with Clive because you're...
Mark, I'm going to give you some homework. You need to just put up on our Substack, which is insearchofsanity.substack.com. You need to put up 4 or 5 things that our listeners can do to help them get out of the doom loop. And you and I have to promise to do it on a regular basis too.
I know.
That's a writing assignment for you.
I owe everybody some writing.
Yes, you do. You lazy bastard.
I promise we'll get on that. Anyway, thanks, folks, for listening to another 15 minutes or watching another 15 minutes of Search of Sanity. Clive, thank you very much. And we'll do it again next week. You can, by the way, write back to us anytime, right? Anytime.
Yeah, anytime. We actually are getting, we have been getting some comments online. So please join in.
We'll share those with you at some point. We'll spend maybe a whole 15 minutes doing that. But also, by the way, see, I always forget this. Please share everything that you see on In Search of Sanity. Share it, comment on it, subscribe, do whatever you can. Thank you.
Amen, brother.
Have a good day. Check you later.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.